Hello, traders. It is 4 o'clock on Friday the 26th. E for eMiniWizard.com and MarketWizards.com with a brief wrap up for our traders. Reminder to use risk capital you can afford to lose if you're playing this game. All right, we're looking at our target line that has been achieved. We've had this on our books for a while, and we said risk and reward would be a problem. This is actually the long way home trade when we come a couple of points within a few points of the target and we get a deep pullback. It doesn't negate that target, but risk and reward suggests that probably better opportunities buying a deeper pullback if you want that target. And that's what we have suggested to our traders the last couple of days, that we were looking for this 14 to 12.5 to hold as support. And then today we felt the biggie was, could we hold this 19 to 20 area this morning? And if so, that might change the dynamics where we could get a little bit of a squeeze if we were to take out that 32 to 35 zone. So last part of the day, we suggested make sure you paid 35. And if you want it, you really need to buy that 28 zone if you're looking to come up and tag that 36 to 37.5. So our primary target, basically 37.5 to 38. And then good fortune above, and the bots seem to be pretty good at being able to understand where those targets are. Our T2 today was actually 40.5. We had suggested earlier that we had two pivots that we thought that were very important once the day got started, and our lower support held back here. Obviously our support until broken. This was the range overnight. And then we're looking at this 34.5 really as a third time through trade to go long side. Once we got above that, here was our squeeze bar right here. Here was our lunch pullback, right? We'd say take lunch off, see what happens. If you want a second shot at it, we're going to use two supports. The first is going to be the 25.5. That's this pivot right there. And then we said, let's use 28. No matter what, that's got to be our support if we want higher targets. And if not, it would tend to minimize that and maybe come back for a little bit deeper pullback. But that was our idea this afternoon, that this should be supportive, squeeze the earlier traders who got it wrong this morning thinking we're going to plunge. And then this afternoon, you can see how this has pulled back. I think the first profit taking was coming back in to test that 35 to 36. But realistically, once you've got traders on the hook going into the close, you either ride it out or just step out. And then we felt not worth it for that last little swing. We felt if you had a good day, just go sidelines and anything could happen. But it looked like still possibility of testing that 40 to 42 range, which we thought was our next big target. We said the other day we had that 40.75 to 43.75 was our next target zone. So that's still valid. And we had noticed that we were pulling into that important 19 to 20 zone, and we really made some higher lows, and then we got capped, but we really couldn't pull back. So that tells you your traders are still on the hook. This will need to be re-auctioned next week, I believe. But the longs still obviously are trying to test that 47 high. So that's obviously got to be our next resistance above the 43.75 at 47 to 49 zone. And taking a look at the angels and demons, we can see that yesterday's angel is 20.5 had held. That's what this blue line is for, to show me that. And then this afternoon, and once we took out the high, usually these bots seem to be very good at squeezing into the close rather than just take profits. I think there's very small profit taking here by day traders saying, okay, I'm done. But I've found that the weeklies tend to hang on a little bit longer and see if there's any more juice as long as their stops aren't taken out. So on this breakout, that's why we had suggested to our traders that this 34.5 was the breakout, and that's probably support for any squeeze at the end of the day. So obviously this is going to be our support for now. Primary target was hit at 40.5, not quite to our 44s, but a good day nevertheless. We suggested traders to be happy and be content on the squeeze, and if you got that last pop into that 38s, to make sure you're paid and then wrap it up. You never want to carry baggage home over the weekend, and we'd suggested probably not worth the risk, and just be happy with what you got, or trail if you wanted to trail, but certainly don't put on any new positions that late in the day. That was our advice. So this gets moved now over here because this was our frame of reference. Let's take a look at that. So this was our resistance zone. We know that finally got through it. That comes over here to that 44, 43.75 idea resistance. And this would come to our fighting box. And this would come to our support box. Step by step, we could see as we go through, when we break that 35 zone, next target up here, that 39 area, 39.75. And then this is our top box now, but realistically, this is actually our fighting box. So now we can slide that up there and say, okay, so this is our fighting box, and this has got to be our support box. Step by step, move it up. And that's what we're looking at to begin next week. So here's your third time through trade right in here. 1, 2, 3. We just draw a couple of arrows there or whatever. All right, so that's what it looks like here. Here's your breakout really back here. And normally this will take out the prior highs. If you have a third time through trade under here, this works. And this kind of confirms the trade once you get back up above here. And typically it will break it if you've had this type of a setup, 1, 2, and then the third time through goes, and it's a stop hunter really trying to knock out these traders. So that's a 1, that's a 2, and then this is the third time through confirming it over here. So this is our true breakout right back here. And that took me a long time to learn that, but hopefully I can help some of you get that idea. All right, so this marked up the chart. So this is our breakout confirmed up here. And obviously our breakout was back at 34.5, and they ended positive. We had thought earlier today that this 22, we had a lot of tails underneath, and we felt that that was significant because we couldn't get back underneath that. So we assumed that first things first, support was holding. Question really became, could they bang it out this afternoon, or would they do it perhaps overnight, Sunday night, in an attempt to get higher? And it turns out that they muscled it up at the end of the day in a squeeze. And that happens, and you have to be prepared for that. Anybody that's had a reasonable day shorting got a few points coming backwards, certainly very neutral in the morning. But then as the day shapes up, you want to become more conservative and hang on to profits if you had shorted and made some. And realistically, don't fight the tape. It just looked like tape wanted higher. We used the Globex chart. We liked the 60. We felt that it held, so we thought this was obviously our power chart that needed to break the rain line for anything better than that for the shorts. And then we scaled it back down a bit. And you can see how a little bit dicey here with the 30-minute chart, over and under, over and under. And then it starts to take some root and take hold. And then in the afternoon, we get that power move. And you can see we're ahead of ourselves on this chart. So typically we'll go back to something like the 15. And you can see how this, once it got above that and started to hold traction with our blue line, still ahead of ourselves on that chart, but got into the alligator position where all of these lines are above the rain line. And of course, the 10 you look at, a little bit faster look, and you can see it here as well, starting to move. This would have been at the end of IB, and you can see this little pop right here. Bang, from that 25.5 squeeze pivot. You can, once you learn these charts and see how they move, then it gets a bit easier. And we try not to depend on any one chart, but once you find the rhythm and you see these type moves, this is a spider pattern, I call it, and you can see that where in the afternoon, we've held the rain line, this 25.5. We said 28 support. If that breaks, 25.5, and you can see I'm relying on this pivot right there. And then you're off to the races on this 5-minute chart. At the end of the day, just kept squeezing and squeezing. So this was a good pattern today that probably sucked in a lot of the shorts who thought we were just going to come down and get a repeat of yesterday, but not to be. One day the shorts will get it right, but not yet. So we keep advocating buy support until it's proven wrong, and trade the ranges. You can play either way in a two-way range, but once you get the feeling that one side has got the edge, you want to play along with them. Today we felt that was the longs. Despite the chop in here, we just felt that shorts had been trapped and were held captive. Anyways, that's the type of analysis we like to do. And this is E for MarketWizards.com and eminywizard.com signing off, wishing everyone a very relaxing and peaceful weekend. Hope you had a good week, and enjoy the weekend and your time off. Thanks for listening.